You guys know that I have a deep-seated love for inexpensive technology. I've reviewed a ton of cheaper sets of wireless earbuds, many of which punch well above their weight class. But something I've not reviewed on this channel has been a cheaper set of actual true headphones. So in today's video, we're going to be doing exactly that. We're going to be taking a look at the OneOdio A10 hybrid headphones. These apparently have active noise cancellation, and I cannot wait to see what a relatively inexpensive set of active noise canceling headphones actually sound like. Now, my reference point for these are going to be the Microsoft Surface headphones. I've not used them a ton here lately, but I used to use them a lot, and I really do like them. So we're going to be comparing them to a fairly premium, expensive set of headphones, and we're going to find out if they can actually hold their own at only $79.99. These are relatively inexpensive, but honestly, I think you can see there from the picture, they look pretty decent. So the first thing we're going to do is jump into a quick unboxing and first impressions. All right, here we go. OneOdio Focus A10 Hybrid Act Noise Cancellation Wireless Headphones. I don't know much about this brand, but I've learned not to really take that into account very much because I've come across some of these brands that I didn't know anything about, and suddenly I've loved their products at a relatively cheap price. Brands like Soundpeats, maybe OneOdio is something similar to that. Looks like we actually have some cables and a little carrying case all in here as well. Some of the specifications there on screen: a 40 millimeter driver, 295 grams. All of that stuff sounds pretty good. Let's go ahead and get this thing open. It's gonna be one of those boxes that are impossible to get to open though. All right, so it's not actually a bag. It's actually like a harder shell case. That is a nice touch, and this actually looks and feels fairly premium. Open it up. We have our instructions there. We have some cables, which are a 3.5 millimeter headphone, so you can plug this thing and actually use it wired, and also an A to C cable. C charging is just always great to see. And as you can tell here, these things kind of fold up into a fairly small form factor. All right, and then they kind of snap into place there. You can hear that mechanism. Let's bring the mic a bit closer. Let's see if you can hear that mechanism. Feels decently sturdy. But overall, I actually think that these feel a bit more premium than I was expecting. They kind of have a cold to the touch sensation on a lot of it. This is definitely plastic up here, but this is some sort of a metal, and it's kind of like a spiral pattern on it. You've got some controls here as well as the headphone jack. This looks like a plus and minus, maybe power there. An ANC button, a dedicated ANC button, as well as the USB charging, all pretty good. The ear cups actually feel pretty good. They've got kind of a nice soft thing going on. They're not super thick, so I have to see how that actually feels. And then there's more padding up top for the top of your head, which also feels better than I was expecting. Mechanism there to change the size, also not too bad. Metal inside there. These, like, build quality wise, these feel like surprisingly decent. So let's pop them on here real quick. And honestly, okay, so they are creating a really nice seal already. Like, I'm already struggling to hear myself talk with them actually turned off. So that's a pretty good sign. I won't speak too much about comfort just yet. A big test will be, do they pinch my glasses against my head? Because most headphones, in fact, do. We'll have to see if these also do it. Now what I need to do is power them up, get them paired to my phone, and let's see how they sound. So we actually had a pretty nice sounding voice that told me that they were on and that they were pairing. This may sound odd, but a lot of these cheaper headphones and earbuds, the voice that talks to you, it just seems to sound very robotic, or it'll have a hard to determine where it's from kind of accent. And this did not really have any of those problems. It actually sounded very premium and very nice. It's a small thing, but it makes a big difference to me. So one of my favorite things to do to test out active noise cancellation and pass-through modes on headphones and earbuds is to go on YouTube, and I will use a video like this, which is 10 full hours of people talking. It's just a way to simulate that. I've got my PC speakers here, and I play that, and I kind of let myself test things out that way. So we have pass-through mode turned on now, and I'll tell you you that one, I can hear myself speaking quite well. In fact, my workflow for these videos is a bit weird. I record a bit, then I edit a bit, then I record a bit, then I edit a bit. So I've already edited the stuff I just filmed, the stuff you just saw, and I was able to edit it with my headphones on, hearing the sound through my speakers with the pass-through mode. So now we're going to hit play on this, and I'm going to see how easy it is to hear these people speaking. Hopefully my microphone is doing a good job of blocking this out. But what I can tell you is that's relatively loud. Let's click the button and we'll change. That is ANC on. I am now much harder for myself to hear. And I can still hear the people, but they are definitely muffled. One more click is ANC off. And honestly, that doesn't sound that different. The seal that it's creating is like 70% as good as the ANC. It's time to grab the Surface headphones and see how they compare. So rather than making you sit through hearing little bits of muffled voices from time to time, I'm just going to tell you what I observed here. So the Surface headphones with pass-through turned all the way on. Keep in mind, this has varying degrees of pass-through and ANC. This dial here is how you control it, right? So with pass-through all the way on, it is very, very loud. It's actually in some ways louder than real life. And in fact, just sitting here, there's almost sort of a sound like there's an air conditioner or something running in my house, but there's actually not one. It might be picking up my computer down there and really making it louder, but there's like a subtle background sound that I'm hearing that wasn't here with the A10s from OneOdio. With the ANC turned on, blocking out sound, they honestly were very, very similar. So I think Surface has some advantages with the varying degrees, the levels you can have dialed in, but the pass-through might honestly be a bit overbearing. It's actually kind of overly loud, and it's picking up and amplifying background noises quite a bit. Yeah, there's definitely none of that stuff going on with these guys with transparency mode. However, transparency mode with these does sound a lot tinnier. There's no bass to anything that I'm hearing. It's very, very light and tinny sounding. Okay, so for you, about 2 seconds has gone by. For me, about 45 minutes has gone by, and I've spent this time listening to songs back and forth on these headphones and on these headphones, utilizing 2 different phones to do this. It's a bit of a pain in the butt, but it's the best way that I can think of to really compare the sounds of these things, and I've written down some notes, and really I can distill it down, I think, quite succinctly. These things don't quite sound as good as the Surface headphones do, okay? But they're not that far off. They're not nearly as far off as I thought that they were going to be. They, in fact, sound quite good. And on some songs, they sound really, really quite strong. They have a very rich tone. I wish that they were just a little bit crisper. I'm a big sucker for a nice, crisp, punchy sound. And they've got some punch here and there, but the crispness, that separation of those sounds where you can really hear the details just isn't quite as good as it is with the Surface headphones. But it's not that far off. If the Surface headphones are a 10, I'm not saying they're like a 10, but just relative to this. If they're a 10, these are maybe like an 8. They're really quite close. One thing that I think would benefit them is to have an equalizer. I went into the Play Store. I don't see a OneOdio app. There's no mention of an equalizer in their settings, in their booklet anywhere. So I'm assuming there's no equalizer to play around with. I think that would help things out quite a bit, because with these guys, there is an equalizer, and I'm able to go in and tell it what I want it to sound like. And that does make these things sound better to me. Duh. So in terms of comfortability, I don't think that they're too bad. Over that amount of time, I wasn't having any discomfort just yet, and I've had to, purposely buy very thin glasses and look for headphones that are very comfortable, and these seem like, over that amount of time, they seem like they're going to be okay, although I do think the Surface headphones are a bit more comfortable. These honestly could be a bit smaller for me. I guess I have a small head, because this would be way too big, even all the way down. I could still stand for it to be just a little bit smaller, so that the ear cups are up just a wee bit higher. But I do like the shape of the ear cups. They're more ear-shaped than what the Surface headphones are, which are just basically round, and your ears aren't round. I do want to take a second and spend a bit more time on the controls, though, because I actually really like them. I like that you've got your volume nice and easily accessible, a textured power button that's going to also do play, pause, and things like that. I like the ANC button. It's on the other side, and it's also very recognizable. Within a very short amount of time, I was able to just kind of feel my way to these controls, and that's one of those things that kind of gets overlooked a lot. That just the simplicity of being able to reach over and know where your controls are. They've done a pretty good job with these. But at the end of the day, when we're talking about a set of headphones that costs $80, and we're comparing it to a set of headphones that, when they came out cost over $200, the fact that these are in the conversation is pretty impressive. 45 hours of playback is a really decent amount of time. The ability to fold these things up and stow them away in a bag or a carrying case that comes with them. And it says here these actually have multi-point connection. Multi-point pairing is actually a really, really big deal to me. Let me see if this actually works. Well, that's pretty cool. So as you can see there, connected to OneOdio A10, and over here, connected to OneOdio A10. All I did was I put my Z Fold 4, which is what they were initially paired to. I turned off the Bluetooth mode. This went back into pairing. I paired it here, turned Bluetooth back on, and it reconnected. Now it's connected to both. Will it actually play audio from one and the other? Let's try here first. Audio is working. Let's go back over to my Z Fold. Audio is working there as well. We are, in fact, paired to and connected to two devices at the same time. That's pretty cool. Let's do a microphone test here real quick as well. So right now we are recording onto my recorder app on my Galaxy Z Fold 4 using the OneOdio A10s as the microphone source. Let's see how these things actually sound. What you can expect to hear from them when you're in a phone call. Guys, overall, I am pretty impressed. A pretty solid feature set, a nice carrying case. The comfort seems decent. Sound quality is honestly not too bad at all. If it had an equalizer, things would really be over the top for me, but for $79, really can't complain at all. I will drop an affiliate link in the description down below in case you want to help support the channel and purchase it through that link. Big shout out to OneOdio for sending these things over for me to test. As usual, they are seeing this review at the exact same time that you are. Guys, subscribe for more content just like this, and until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.